And there is no game on the remainder of our schedule more important than the one you're going down to the tunnel to play today. Here we go. It's over.
Go Blue. Welcome back, folks. So, we got all the pros out the way, and now it's time to talk some college football. I ain't gonna lie to you. As much as I love pro football, college football is my heart, dude. I take college over the pros any day. It's just me.
They play harder.
They got a reason to play hungry.
They hungry. They can hit each other.
Yeah, them boys hungry. Them boys hungry. You know, like Arian Foster said, I rushed for 200 yards, a volunteer. I rushed for 200 yards, scored 3 touchdowns, signed a bunch of autographs, took a bunch of pictures, went to my dorm room and was starving. Mm-hmm. Them boys playing.
Hungry.
That's right. Literally
Hungry.
and figuratively, they hungry.
Oh.
You know, so he probably still hungry. Eat you a steak, man. No, I'm just playing. Aaron, you all right with me, bro. All right, so let's talk about, obviously, the first thing is the college football playoff. Mm-hmm. Didn't shift around too much. Clemson's still number 1. The Tide is still rolling at number 2. Oklahoma is at 3, which I thought they'd be at maybe 4.
You know what?
Go ahead.
Oklahoma, they have this nastiness about them. They're playing well, but you have to look at it. They don't have to put on the line this weekend.
I agree.
They do not have to put on the line
Yeah.
this weekend like Michigan State does, like Iowa does,
Bama,
like
Florida,
does,
yeah.
like USC does. I mean, USC and Stanford has to. Or
Clemson.
Clemson, not USC and Stanford, but yeah, Clemson. They don't have to put on the line. They get to sit at home and watch.
Yeah, and I was going to get to that later, but since we brought it up, we'll talk about it. And number 4 is Iowa, which I saw that coming because they're the only Big Ten team to just blow through. Granted, that's the weaker division. I mean, our side is loaded with Michigan State, Michigan, that school in Ohio,
Just Ohio State.
and the other side is pretty, you know. But at the same time, you only play who they put in front of you. Mm-hmm. Now, let's go back to what you were saying about Oklahoma. I was always a fan of every conference either having a conference championship or not. I don't like the fact that some teams have to play an extra game to get there.
Right, because for a long time, the Big Ten didn't have it until Nebraska got in to the Big Ten.
That was
when Nebraska was part of the Big 12. Mm-hmm. Now you have the Big 12, who's only 10 schools.
Yeah.
Now you have the Big Ten, who's how many schools?
12 now.
12 now?
Yeah.
And so it baffles me. The SEC has 14. So
Is it really 14?
It's 14.
Man, I didn't realize that.
So there are going to always be those conference championships for those. And to me, they should get, without a shadow of a doubt, the notch because they have to put on the line an extra week while Oklahoma sits at home.
Right. And the thing to me that it hurts Oklahoma's case to me is they lost to Texas.
Yeah, but you have to look at how they revamped, how they came back. I mean,
still lost
come
to
on.
Texas.
They beat Tennessee at Tennessee towards the beginning of the year in 2 overtimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the defense is playing out of their mind.
They are.
Yeah, they did.
Got you again.
And then what else is there? They just been playing better ball.
Oh, don't get me
Baylor.
wrong,
They beat
yeah.
some of the ranked teams.
They did. And that I tell you what, that game with Baylor was one of the best games I've seen this year. That was a good physical, and I give Baylor props as well. Everybody's like, oh, Baylor's finesse. Baylor brought it against Oklahoma. They lost, but they brought it. And they played some good physical football that week. Now, I mean, we talked about that in the group. Now, number 5 is Michigan State, and number 6 is that school in Ohio, who I got to do this because I said I would. Absolutely destroyed my Wolverines. They came in our house, ate our dinner, put their feet up on our coffee table, and went and got into bed with our wife, is what they did to us. That just was
Tyrone style.
nasty. Nasty, yeah. We're not going to explain Tyrone. Some of y'all know who it is. Yeah, that was bad, you know. So let's keep it real. Those are everybody under them, 7 and below, all have 2 losses.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody with 2 losses is going to get in. Nobody with 2 losses is going to get in. So it's either going to be Clemson, Bama, Oklahoma, Iowa, Michigan State, that school in Ohio. Those are 4 of those 6 are going to be the 4. Now, here's the thing. The Big 10 championship, Iowa against Michigan State. We were talking about that on the phone earlier, 4 versus 5. Whoever wins that game punches their ticket, right? Who you got? And why?
I'm going to take Michigan State.
And why is that?
We can think they have more high-powered offense. Granted, I watched them play in Nebraska last Friday. Their defense is rarely caught out of position, but offensively they don't have the firepower to beat, nor the speed. So it's in Indianapolis, controlled climate, so it's going to be even. It's
Right.
not like they're playing in Iowa where it's extra cold,
Right.
or in Michigan where people might be snowing, so no home field advantage.
Right.
I'm taking Michigan State just
Yeah.
due to all-around better program.
Yeah. Iowa plays good old-fashioned Big Ten football.
Right.
They run the football, they play physical defense, and they pass when they need to. That's good old-fashioned, and that's what Michigan has gone back
Nothing
to.
against what they do.
Right, and that's why Michigan has finally got back to where they were, because they're playing old-school football, what they do. All right, now let's talk about the SEC championship. We talked about that already, but for the sake of our viewers, Bama and Florida.
Taking Bama off the top, Kirby Smart, the defense playing out of their mind. Lane Kiffin is warming Coker up throughout the game. He doesn't let him loose, but he warms him up to let him loose.
Warms him up to let him loose.
Exactly.
Okay. Oh, I didn't get my prediction on the Michigan State-Iowa game. I'm going to go Michigan State, too. I just think, I think they are, you hit the nail on the head. They got more firepower, and they're hotter right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're riding high. They're riding really high right now. They destroyed,
Ohio State with your back.
right, destroyed them with their backup and destroyed Penn State last week. So I just think they're riding high. I'm all about momentum in college football. Pac-12 championship, USC and Stanford.
I'm taking Stanford.
Stanford.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Number 1, Clemson and North Carolina.
Clemson.
Why?
Such a weak conference, but North Carolina's not. Do we really have to go into it?
No.
Just Clemson.
They're the better team.
Football, just the better team. More, excuse me, more gimmick football in their game, which Clemson is going to run, and they'll get smashed by Bama in the first round of the playoffs.
Right. And we'll close it out with the home team, the University of Houston Cougars, and the Temple Owls, right down the street at TDECU.
Put it this way: if that right defensive end doesn't get hooked all the time, U of H big.
Big fella? Yeah, he's a big old dude too.
U of H big. I mean, he gets hooked. I mean, that's the only on the offensive right, defensive left, the left defensive end, shall I say, from a defensive standpoint. If he doesn't get hooked, it'll be a slow day for the other team running the ball. So,
Okay. Now, Ken Farrell was out with an ankle last week. Is he set to play this week?
I'm not too sure.
That's gonna make a big difference.
It will be a good difference.
Because I've seen
That's game clock.
Yeah, I've seen Temple play, and they've got a pretty physical defense. So they would need Farrell to soften them up a bit.
Right.
So it would help them a lot if Big Ken can get out there and play. And Ken is our guy. Ken has always talked to us, always been down with us. So get well. And I take U of H as well. I think it kind of goes back to what you said. Ooh, I remember that hit. What you said about Michigan State. I think U of H has more firepower than Temple. And I think that they're going to beat them in a shootout. I think they'll beat them in a shootout. But that's all the time we got for today's episode, folks. So, as always, we thank you guys for joining us. For Damian Jolivet and the rest of the crew, this is Mitchell Brock, and we'll see you next time.